Hey there, Addicted Gaming fans. Welcome to a new line of videos. This time we're going to focus on Attack on Titan, or as it's known in Japan, Shingeki no Kyojin, which literally means Attack on Titan. So, the game we're about to play is obviously based on a manga, on an anime, which is set in a world where humanity lives in cities surrounded by enormous walls. This is a defense against titans, which are gigantic humanoid giants, as the title depicts, Attack on Titan. Humanoids that eat humans seemingly without reason. The actual anime, it's, I would say, halfway or at least a quarter into season 2. In fact, if you check out my other videos, I did a top 10 Attack on Titan season 1, which gives you a general sense of what the season was all about. So check it out if you have time. So as far as I know, the game will actually act as a walkthrough for season 1. So you play obviously the main protagonist, which is Eren Jaeger, which obviously is the protagonist, alongside his adopted sister Mikasa Eikoman, and obviously his childhood friend Amin Alat, who eventually joined the military to fight the Titans, as obviously you will see as we play the game, and it will take you through the whole of season 1 and all the different twists and different plot angles which the game will show you. So we are watching an introductory sequence right now, which is exactly the same as the anime. 100 years have gone by, as you have already read, and all of a sudden this enormous gigantic titan appears out of nowhere and causes mass panic and havoc. And as you see right now, he is in fact going to destroy the outermost wall. By doing so, will give access to the Citadel and to the other lesser titans, which are generally referred as abnormals. Again, we still don't know. I mean, I'm watching. I'm a passionate watcher, follower of the anime. I've watched every single episode in season 1. I've watched every single episode of season 2. I haven't read the manga, so my knowledge is purely based on the anime and exactly where the plot is heading through the anime. So there's a lot of different plot holes which haven't been answered as yet. So I don't really know why there's different classes of titans. We've just seen a gigantic one. Obviously there's this mob plot which will be revealed in season 2. I'm not going to even touch upon that because this video would be a spoiler free video. It will be purely a walkthrough of the actual game. I will make certain references to the anime as I go through the different series of videos. If you've seen other anime walks I've done, I completed recently Saint Seiya walkthrough of a Sanctuary arc. I tend to give additional information within each specific video, but I don't go over and beyond what the actual video encompasses and tries to portray. So yeah, there's different types of titans. We've seen the enormous gigantic titan which broke the wall, and there's other lesser abnormal titans which tend to go inside the citadels and eat the humans. So that's just has happened, and the population of the first inner wall retreated into the next stage. There's obviously there's 3 layers of walls, and our heroes, as well as other citizens within, have decided to become more proactive and have decided to go into the military corps to try to defend humanity against the titans. So that is exactly what's happening right now. The drill instructor is given advice and pointers about how to use the ODM, which is the equipment they generally use, which is called omnidirectional mobility. Obviously the operating device, the body of compressed gas, which allows them to shoot in all different directions, and the blades, which tend to become dull after used to kill the titans, and so forth. Okay, so we'll go straight into the first mission, and it's pretty simple. Just need to familiarize myself with the game's basic controls. So far, loving the graphics, very smooth gameplay, very cool. I think it's it's gonna take me a bit of familiarizing myself with. It's actually quite fast. I don't know if you appreciate it in the video, but when I link my directional, wires onto the sides, it's hard to actually maintain mobility. It actually flies to different areas. Okay, so far so good. I'm getting success for all the different bits and pieces, and okay, so first mission done. So this wasn't, I don't think this was depicted in the anime. I mean, I've only recently watched it a couple of months ago when it finished the season 2 begun. I know that was in Eren did in fact train for the military corps, but I don't think he did practice as much as the game is showing you. Obviously, it needs to be more interactive. It needs to give you something to do. It's not just as simply as watching a piece of animation. Okay. Okay, so we got through the first basic training, and I'm going to speed up the speed of this second sequence. I'm sure that you guys want me to go straight into the action and straight into the actual game footage. All this is glorified training, so I have to admit I found this part a bit hard to get used to. I couldn't control the ODM equipment very well, and I was constantly missing the mark, but eventually I got there. And as you would see, it took a lot of hacking and slashing just to time the hits perfectly, and it wasn't until pretty much the last time that I did not get used to what I had to do. Okay, so we go into our further training, and this time we have to find colleagues scattered around the map to refuel our equipment. So we use the same speed ratio, and we just try to get through this as quickly as we can. So essentially I need to go to every single red spot on the right hand side map. I need to take out the Titan by using the same techniques as I was previously taught in the first little training sequence. I have to say, once you get used to the different buttons and what they do and this and the other, it's relatively simple. It's just a matter to get, it's like any other game, it's just a matter to familiarize yourself with all the different configurations. So yeah, so essentially you go around the map, taking down different sized card box figurines which are supposed to represent Titans. You need to obviously target different body parts. Once you run out of blades or compression gas, you go to the different depots which are manned by your colleagues and friends from the military corps, and they essentially replenish you with supplies, which is essentially the two different sequences we did before. We did the taking out the Titans, and we did running around replenishing but without any encounters. So essentially this last sequence is amalgamating all the different little exercises we've done so far. Okay, and as you can see, I managed to successfully complete the training sequence without too much difficulties, and in fact I don't know if everyone manages to get number one, but I did, so I'm not too sure. I have no point of comparison, but I do feel that I did well. Okay, and the game continues. So everyone has managed to complete the combat training. Reina as group commander is telling you how do you do. And obviously for those that are not too familiar with Attack on Titan, which I'm assuming most people that will watch this video will be, it's, in my personal opinion, the fact that I bought this game came from the fact that I really enjoyed the anime, and when I realized that there was a game on Attack on Titan, couldn't help myself but to buy the game. Essentially, you're going to play through first season, so for those that have watched the anime beforehand or have in fact read the manga, the game is not going to produce anything either than a new experience for those that love animation, which is, for me, this is essentially what I'm seeking for. I've watched the anime, and obviously I wanted to imagine what life was through the eyes of Eren, but actually trying to take out Titans and enjoying the main protagonists ordeal through the first season. So this obviously came out in the actual anime when they were training.
お前の死亡は調査兵団だったな。ああ。俺は調査兵団に入ってこの世から巨人を駆逐する。
For those that haven't watched season 2, some people, some of my friends and some of the people that I know and speak to, actually prefer to allow the whole season to run its course and then they watch it back to back in one sitting. So I'm not too sure if let's see. I was an A. I wasn't even sure that I didn't know that I was gonna get ranked for how well I did, which an A is great, and in fact I got 2 S's and an A. Funny enough, I would have assumed that 2 S's and an A would have given me an overall S rank, but it gave me an A. Maybe I had to S rank every single aspect to get an S rank. Okay, so let's move forward. Okay, so Eren's regimental and soldier skills have leveled up. Again, I'm not too sure exactly what they do at this point in time, and I've grown enough to give me access to a different ability to use in combat. Again, not too sure. Gonna have to do a bit of research before I decide to purchase or even to practice those new skills. I just literally jumped into the game without actually reading anything surrounding his abilities or okay. So 3 years have essentially passed by, and also the protagonist and the people generally involved in the military corps have mastered the vertical maneuvering equipment, which is the ODM, which I mentioned before. And obviously this allows them to move three-dimensionally through their environment, which generally speaking humans are limited to dimensional movements, and obviously this will allow them greater mobility to surround and try to kill the Titans as best as they can. Not only that, but obviously the training is actually quite grueling. If I remember correctly, it's insinuated in the anime that they need to develop great physical and strength, particularly in the legs, and obviously this is coupled with spatial recognition abilities because they're also moving through, I wouldn't say three-dimensional space because it's not three-dimensional space, but they are moving three-dimensionally, and obviously they need to have a higher ability to recognize their environment and perceptions and so forth. In fact, one of the first things obviously that they did when they enlisted in the training was to see if they had any aptitude, and this was evaluated, and if you see the anime, Eren in fact had a dodgy ODM device, but in fact even with the dodgy ODM device he showed great potential because he was doing relatively the same as his comrades, but with a manufacturing device, which indicated that his ability to use the device was going to be exceptionally good because he was doing well with a manufacturing device anyway. So 3 years have gone by. Some of the soldiers have run away, others have been driven out before training because the training essentially is very, very intense, and in fact some people die during the process. So we move onwards in the game, and Yeah, I generally, when I play RPG games, I generally like to do other little side quests and speak to everyone just in case I have items or extra information. But considering that I want to make the video as succinct as possible, I'm gonna skip through this at double speed. So essentially, we go around speaking to everyone, speaking to the colleagues for different team members that can compose the military units. And Eren is just arguing with different members about their opinion about what they should be doing with the Titans, and that's this particular member which the only reason he did relatively well, or in fact he did so well, not to contribute to humanity's survival, but in fact to get close to the king so that he doesn't have to be close to the Titans, which is quite a contrast to what Eren wants to do. He wants to improve his skills, he wants to do very well, to in fact avenge his mother. Even though in the game it hasn't come out until now, in the actual anime was the very first season, which I believe made Titan hit the ground extremely fast, because it was so graphic, it was so real in nature, so raw in nature, that it made many people fall in love with the series, which is exactly what we're going to see right now. So essentially what's happening right now is, as you saw in the very first sequence, for enormous Titan, which appeared after 100 years of peace, destroyed the outer wall with a big kick, and through that big kick, his female, I don't know if I would consider her or describe her as one of the abnormal Titans, because generally the abnormal Titans have a distinct, very distant glare look in their faces. This Titan was larger in stature and had a very menacing look to her, as you can see right now. So I don't know if I would describe her as abnormal. Maybe so, I'm not too sure. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm not too familiar with the manga, so my whole information and knowledge is based directly into the anime. So those that are watching the anime concurrently, the same as I am, very little is actually known about the types of Titans, why have they come out after 100 years of peace, what do they want, or why can Eren and the others, I don't know if I should say more, in fact I maybe have said enough, but the fact is that different Titans have different abilities, and we don't know. But this what we're seeing right now was the heart-wrenching moments in the anime for me, and as I briefly mentioned before, was one of the very first scenes that you see in the actual anime. One of the abnormal Titans goes in and devours Eren's mum when she's still alive, which is extremely awful. So now we're seeing the armored Titan, which seems to have like a carapace surrounding his body, made of sturdier stuff, of solid stuff, very hard to break, and he literally plows through the wall and obliterates it, allowing obviously other Titans to go into Wall Maria, which is the second wall, which has been actually breached, and the remaining inhabitants of the surrounding areas try to escape. Which is, Titan is an awesome series. If you haven't watched it so far, please do. Very highly recommended, and I think it's the type of anime that appeals to a larger audience. I myself, I watch every single anime that I can get my hands onto, but I think Attack on Titan particularly, I think is geared towards a much more mature adult audiences, which generally speaking animes are adult cartoons, if you want to describe it that way, but in particular I think Attack on Titan appeals to a much more cross-sectional sector of society, perhaps opposed to maybe, I don't know, like Dragon Ball or Naruto or other different types of animes, which maybe you really need to enjoy animation per se to get into those type of animes, where Teen Titan, because it's just so brutal, so graphic, and the story is not very stereotypical, giant humanoid titans based on mythology, wake up or what have you, and tries to destroy humanity, which is great. And when I was watching season 1, I was a bit, I don't know, not too convinced in terms of a plot, but as different episodes dropped different plot hooks, I have to say I very, very much, loved the series to bits. Okay, so we've watched the cinematic sequence, we talked to different characters within the game. Now I'm trying to purchase different modifications for my equipment just to make myself better equipped, upgrade my character's abilities. And we've spoken to everyone in the vicinity, and I think we're ready to commence our first mission of the day. Well, not the first mission. We've done hundreds of, we've done a couple of missions, but I would say the first plot-driven mission, which you can see here, is depicted by the exclamation mark on the character's head. So we'll get straight into that. So our main protagonists are enjoying some downtime, even though obviously the Titans are attacking and they've breached the first 2 outer walls. Where Eren and his comrades are stationed right now, it seems to be relatively safe. The Titans are outside and the humans have retreated inwards. So right now they have reason to be optimistic. So we move on to 5 years from what I was describing, and Armored Titan has just breached the walls, and humanity is ready to fight back, as Eren quite optimistically saying right now. But as usually the case, when you least expect it, trouble brews, and the gigantic Titan appears once again. And this is one of the Titan's attacks. He lets powerful steam emanate from his body, which completely pushes everyone back and obviously tries to burn everyone to asunder. It's an offensive as well as a defensive mechanism he has, apart from his enormous size and his brute strength, which allows him to break through the enormous, slabs of wall, which again he's done again right now. He can actually force his body to emanate steam offensively and defensively when he feels threatened. So new Titans have broken through the walls, and obviously Eren is having a flashback, remembering exactly what happened to his mother so many years ago, but this time he's eager, he's straight up, and this time he's not going to take things lying down. In fact, he's going to take a fight directly towards the Titan. So our first proper real mission, apart from the training sequences we did before. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take out our first Titan. So I'm going to be using obviously all the different techniques and skills I learned to master in the game when I was doing the training. So actually it's a very cool game, to be honest. It's taken somewhat to get into obviously the first fight. There was a lot of talk, there was a lot of training sequences, but then again it's a role-playing game, so you're bound to get all the narrative of the interactions as you usually do. Okay, so subjugated my first Titan. As you can see, I destroyed different body parts, and then the nape, which is behind the Titan's back, which is generally speaking the weak point, and I don't want to say anything more at this point in time, just in case we have new viewers watching this for the very first time and don't still understand the relationship between the nape and what's behind that and the Titan. So the gigantic Titan once again breaches another wall, and further abnormal Titans break through. So let's see what we have to do now. Okay. So let's try to take our second Titan out. It's a pretty cool game. Very unique. The same as the anime. The anime is very unique. And once you get used to the different functions, they're not particularly difficult. The hardest difficulty is knowing when to hook, when to fast stream, and when to obviously do the cutting sequence, which is 3 different button actions, and it can become a bit fidgety. The configuration, I mean, how to say, it's easy now, but it wasn't when you began with, like, I suppose like any other game, that you have to get used to the different functions. Okay, so we've managed to take out a small titan, a medium titan, and now we need to take one of the larger titans, which is slightly harder because you need to use your ODM device much better, because you know, the higher above you go, the harder it is to control it. Okay, so my colleagues are going for the titans. I'm just going to try to finish this one off. Not too sure exactly the influence of how I give orders and instructions to other people. I'm assuming it's going to have a big impact as the game progresses, but right now I'm just having fun in killing titans. Okay, so a superior subjugation. I'm assuming that that's relatively good. Instead of going for the nape first and foremost, I think if you take out every single body part and then go for the nape, you get extra points, which is what I'm doing now. And I'm just realizing that I'm running low on perishables. I have very little fuel left, and I don't think I have any fuel left or blades. So I need to find one of my friends. Okay, so if we use the map, we can actually go quite quickly. And this is the same as the training mission. Obviously, the people that are trying to support you is depicted by the little crate thing on the map. So we can quickly follow the map to things I don't have any. Ah, he's down there, isn't he? Or is it just me? I think I've just missed him, wasn't he? Behind me? I think so. Someone here anyway. Okay, so resupply and try to go back and finish the Titan. Actually, I just realized I think I could have done that anyway, because I had two gas cylinders and 3 blades. Anyway, I know for next time I don't have to go and resupply unless I don't have anything to resupply with. It's a shame I only had one further hit and I would have done it. Shame that I had to leave him there screaming for mercy. Okay, so mission finished, and I think I'm gonna call it for today. It's been a relatively long video, primarily because the training missions took forever, and then obviously of the dialogue and the interaction. But in terms of my experiences of the game, and in terms of if I could recommend it or not for other gamers, I would give it definitely an easy 7 or even an 8 out of 10. And this is just purely based on my first mission. Obviously, I am biased because I enjoy the anime so much. So it's like no way really, unless the game really sucked big time, that I'm not going to enjoy this game at all. Graphics are great. The gameplay is fine. You need to get used to the configurations and the way that the different buttons and functions interact with one another. But once that's done, it's not it wouldn't be a problem. And what's this? Gigantic Titan. Do we face him off now? Okay, so let's just finish this off then, I suppose, and then I'll edit and upload the video to YouTube. Yeah, I think it's a cool sending off. We've killed a couple of titans, and we're not gonna leave Gigantic Titan here bored. So we'll try to take him out then. Also, we're not gonna kill him, but I'm assuming we need to push him back. We need to do enough damage to push him back. Okay. So so we don't only have to obviously attack him by attacking his places of weakness, but we also need to be using the environment, and in this occasion we need to be using those cannons. Okay, so not too difficult, and then we just have to press the Y, which is the fire button, and kill him or do damage. Okay, so yeah, it seems to be working. Now he's on. And where's the damage depicted? Is it the red bar in the middle? Neck. Ah, okay, no, that's just the damage we've done to his neck. So it's the neck that we have to. Yeah, the neck seems to be working better than his arms. Okay, so we need to damage his neck, but we need to point to his arm to prevent him attacking us. So the firing of the arms is defensive, and the neck is where we do the damage. Okay, but we need to do it quite quickly because he regenerates, because obviously he has more energy than what he had before. So we need to shoot his arms and then quickly go back to his neck, yeah? Okay. See, and if it takes too long, he regenerates. I think that's what you need to be doing. Okay, so attack his arm again. It gives you tips and pointers so that you don't get carried away. So his arm again. I don't think it gives me enough time to completely damage and reduce his damage bar to 0. He regenerates so quickly. I'm not sure if we need to. Do we need to destroy? I'm assuming so. Maybe it's just me that I'm not doing it quick enough. Oh, his bar, yes, now I realize. Even though he does regenerate, the maximum health he has gets reduced every time I do like a fight sequence. So his bar, yeah, so there you go, he's nearly dead now. Okay, I was getting concerned for a second there because it wasn't coming across as I was doing anything particularly good. But yeah, so mission success. Okay. And he didn't even hit us on one occasion. I'm assuming that if I would have missed hitting his hand, he would have, but we didn't allow him to do that. So yeah, there you go. He's using his intense hot steam as a defense mechanism because Eren was about to catch Snape off. But yeah, he's not gonna be able to do it. And then when he realizes, yeah, he's disappeared. Obviously, if you carry on watching the anime and you go into season 2, you realize exactly what has happened here. Because, well, enough said. But very cool, very cool. It's always good to play the game. I mean, I personally enjoy the game even more so because I know exactly why things are happening. It's almost like a refresher for me. It's almost like watching anime again, fully knowing exactly why things are happening, which is kind of cool. Okay, so let's just go through this sequence, then I'll save if it doesn't save automatically, and I think I'll call the video, and this will be my first video. Okay, so SSS. Okay, I suppose I did really well. I didn't feel that I was doing particularly well. I was focused, and but I didn't feel that it came naturally. So an A for the first mission and an S for the second mission. Yeah, great. I'll take that any day. Cool. So complete subjugation. Okay, so that's it for me. I hope that you enjoyed video 1 of my Attack on Titan Let's Play walkthrough. If you like what you saw, please subscribe. If you like what I'm doing, please click the like button. If you have any comments, please feel free to comment. Even if it's something which is negative or, better said, a constructive criticism, please go ahead. Feel free to express yourselves. YouTubing is relatively new for me, so I'm not too sure exactly what people want or how to compose videos. I'm just having fun gaming and trying to interact with my fans while I'm doing this. Okay, so we'll leave it there. We'll save the video, the game, better said, and hopefully I'll carry on playing and upload videos next week and the following. So thanks for watching. All the best. Take care. Until next time.